Hi guys, let's look at Kcse 2024, paper 1 theory. Remember, theory means that we are covering the syllabus for Form 1 to Form 4. So, let's look at the questions that were brought here. We have functions of the control unit. In Form 1, that is the topic computer systems, you looked at computer systems. So we have functions of the control unit. Here we are not asked for the functions of the CPU. So we are asked coordination. How does the control unit support coordination and also the flow of data? So the expected answer here is that during coordination, the control unit tells different parts of the computer when to start and stop working together. So here basically you just mention how the coordination, that the start work and stop work happens. Then flow of data. The control unit manages how data moves between parts of a computer. That is the flow of data. So here, the examiner is interested in data movement. Question number 2. There were 3 factors for choosing a desktop computer. So basically here, the examiner wanted to ask the factors that you consider when choosing a desktop computer's memory. So you must understand the question. Here, the point of interest is computer memory. And for the expected answers, we have size, that is how much memory is available, speed, how quickly the memory can process information. Then we have the type. Remember, we have different types of memory, whereby we have the read-only memory, and also we have the random access memory. Remember, you must know the difference between the two. And for that case, the examiner went ahead and asked, differentiate between random access memory and read-only memory in terms of volatility. Volatility means when the way the computer memory holds power. For example, when power goes off, what happens? So, random access memory loses data when computer is turned off or when power goes off. On the other hand, read-only memory keeps data even when the computer is off or when power goes off. Then we have which circumstances or which situations may necessitate formatting a hard disk. To format a hard disk is actually may have 2 meanings. It may means when you want to erase everything, or you want to prepare it to hold data. That is for a new reboot hard disk. So the reasons as to why you may format a hard disk, number 1 is when it is infected by virus. That is virus infection. So you can format the hard disk to remove the harmful software. On the other hand, we have corrupt data. When files are damaged and they can't open, that means they are corrupt. That means this guy may opt to format or wash, in quotes, the hard disk. Changing the use. You may decide to format a hard disk to prepare the disk for a different operating system. For example, you want to move from Windows 10 to Windows 11 or from Windows 7 to Windows 8. So you may format the hard disk for that case. Then you are supposed to convert you are supposed to convert the largest memory here, not really the largest, but it is a smaller one to a larger one. Like for example, before we go to that, the first question was to order word, byte, nibble, and bit. So word is the largest, byte follows, nibble, which is a half word, and then a bit. For that case, convert 2560 GB to TB. How many gigabytes make 1 terabytes? That is where the question is, and therefore the expected answer is 2.56 terabytes. Number 6, Um, you are asked for the reasons for preferring. Why should you prefer a laser printer over dot matrix printers? Remember, a laser printer is a non-impact printer, whereas dot matrix printer is an impact printer. So for this case, we have reasons. Reason number one is speed. Laser printers are faster, that is in printing. Quality, they produce clearer, that is sharper prints, prints with clarity. Then we have noise. Laser printers, being non-impact printers, they are quieter than dot matrix. Dot matrix make a lot of noise. So those are the three main expected answers. Question number 7. What do you do when an operating system becomes unresponsive? That is, it doesn't respond. So the first answer is to restart. Restarting is a medicine for computer that is unresponsive. For that case, you turn off and restart the computer. Number 2, somebody may use the task manager. That is, end unresponsive programs using the task manager by pressing Ctrl, Alt, and Delete. And then you can press end the task. So part 2 and part 3 are the same thing. What do you understand by timeliness, relevance, and also I can add accuracy? This is in Form 3, second topic, data processing. So timeliness, data should be updated and ready when needed. Take a situation whereby a newspaper, yesterday's newspaper is arriving today. For that case, you say it doesn't meet time. It is out of time bound. It has not met timeliness. Relevance, it has become absolute. It is not relevant anymore. Yesterday's newspaper may not be relevant. So data should be useful and related to the task. Then explain by help of an example, the 3 cell references. This is Form 2, second topic, spreadsheets. And for our case, we use Microsoft Excel. So we have mixed reference. Example, here you can see A here, then there is $1. This is a mixed reference whereby we have relative and absolute. For such case, column stays the same, row can change. Then we have relative reference. Example, we have A1. Both row and column can change when copied. Then we have absolute reference. Example, we have $A$1. So this means both row and column stay the same when copied. Then reasons business may prefer electronic fund transfer. Whenever you hear of electronic fund transfer, this is a situation whereby one bank wires money to another bank. For instance, somebody in the US may wire money to Equity Bank, to KCB, name the bank, and then you get your money through the wire. That is electronic fund transfer, EFT. So this one is so secure. EFT is so secure. It is safer. There is less chance of theft. Convenience. No need to handle cash or checks. Then we have payments are processed quickly. That is speed. So we are talking about speed, convenience, security. Then authenticity in software selection. This is Form 1, second topic, computer systems, and the points where we choose under the point where we choose, that is the consideration, software considerations and hardware consideration. But this one is for software consideration. What is authenticity? Authenticity is the legality, whether something is valid and legal. So authenticity here means choosing original licensed software to ensure it's safe and works as expected. Remember, when you buy pirated softwares, it may have viruses and also it may have some corrupted files. Question number 12. Word wrap versus wrap text. These are two confusing terminologies. This is first topic in Form 2, word processing. So when you talk about word wrap, This is a situation whereby text automatically moves to the next line when reaching the margin. You notice that when you are typing and then the sentence reaches the end of the line, it automatically flows to the start of the other line. That is word wrap. Whereas wrap text, this is whereby text goes around an image. Right? For example, when you choose or you check or you read a newspaper like Daily Nation, Standard, name them, you'll get to that when there is an image, the text surrounds the image. That is, they have applied wrap text. Then we have navigation keys in spreadsheets. Now, besides arrow keys, you know the arrow keys, the ones you use to play games. Which other buttons can you use to navigate? To navigate is to move from one place to the other. So you can use tab key. This moves to the next cell. You can try that one at your free time. Enter. Enter. In this context, when you press enter, it takes cursor or the cell selector, that is the triangular stuff, to the next line. You can also use home key. That one moves from one place to the other. You can also use end key. Then, differentiate between stroke and fill in desktop publishing. Remember, this is form to work. Now, when we talk about the stroke, we are talking about the line. When we talk about the fill, we are talking about the color or the pattern inside the object. So the stroke is the outline or the border on an object, whereas the fill is the color or pattern inside the object. Then, what is the function of a web server? When we talk about a web server here, we are talking about a resource distributor. This is a resource distributor. So, when we are talking about a web server, this is a resource that distributes the websites. That is the www or the World Wide Web. So, when we talk about a web server, this stores websites and delivers them to the users when they browse the internet. So it just stores the websites and delivers them to the users when they browse or when they surf. Question number 16. Source code. We have now this should not really be question number 16 here. Should be just a part. Just correct that one. So we have the Sorry. That one should be really question number 16, only that I don't have the instructions here. So the instructions are answer question 16 and any other three. Never answer all the questions because the examiner may not mark the last question. So the first question in question number 16 always comes from the third topic in Form 3, that is elementary programming principles. And for this case, the question is differentiate, gives, that is the source code. We have the characteristics of source code and row-level programming language. So when we talk about a source code, what is a source code? Source code are the instructions written by the programmer in the programmer editor window. And when they are converted to machine-readable form, we call them object code or object program. So, what are the characteristics of a source code? Number one, it should be readable, should be editable, should be translatable. It should be translatable. That means it can be translated from one session to the other. For example, you translate them from human readable to machine readable. Can be changed to fix issues or bugs or errors. That is editable. They should be readable. The user should really understand. Then, what are the reasons for choosing low-level programming languages compared to high-level programming languages? Remember, low-level programming languages are written using binary logic, zeros and ones. And zeros and ones are very close to the machine. This means we have the speed. Low-level languages are faster for computers to execute. Remember what I have said. They are very close to the machine. So the machine doesn't need any, that is much time to understand. But when you have high-level languages, they must be translated so that they can be understood by the machine. Control. They offer more control of hardware and memory. Efficiency uses fewer resources, ideal for performance in critical tasks. Then we have this question here. You are supposed to write a program that gives values between 6 and less than 150. So this is the pseudocode. We begin, we set our n. You can use x or any other value, or any other letter, sorry. So set n to 6, while n is less or equal to 150. Do what? Print n. Then take the value of n and add 3, and while. So this is the flowchart. Begin, set n to 6, enter n, then is n less than 150? Yes. Then you take the value of n, you add 3, then print it, and then bring the new value here. If it is not, then the program terminates. So that is that. And for the explanation part of it, set n to 6. This initializes the starting number of the sequence. While n is less than 50, do this loops continues as long as n is less than 150. Print n, output the current value of n. N equals to n plus 3. This is increment n by 3 to generate the next number in the sequence. And while ends the loop when n is no longer less than 150. And marks the end of the program. That is the explanation of the flowchart. Guys, what are the advantages? Flowchart. What are the advantages of a flowchart and user forms in system development? So, number one is clarity, makes complex steps easy to understand. Debugging helps identify errors. Remember, errors are called bugs in computer science. Question number 17. You are supposed to name 3 factors for creating user forms using system development. Why do you think when you are creating a system, you must create forms? You know the forms, the GUIs or the IUs. So there is easy to use, ease of use, should be simple. That is the factors to consider when creating the forms. They should be easy to read, ease of use. They should be relevance. And then appearance. They should be nice, beautiful. They should attract the eyes of the reader. Name 2 benefits of carrying out unit testing. Guys, what is unit testing? If you didn't know what is unit testing, then you wouldn't have gotten correct this question. Unit testing is a software testing process in which individual, that's where key is, individual components or modules of a system are tested in isolation to ensure that they work as expected. Guys, what we mean here, once you go further in your computer studies, you notice that we have things called functions, we have things called methods, we have things called classes. You create small parts of a program, then you combine them. And each part, it is easy for you to test since it is a small part. That's why we are bringing the word unit. Unit is a part. It's like now you are doing part by part testing. So what are the benefits? Number one, identify the bugs. We have said the term bugs means errors. So it finds issues early in development, improves quality, ensures each part works as expected. Then, what are the uses of user manual? To start with, what is a user manual? A user manual is a guide. Remember, you usually have the programmer-oriented manual, user-oriented manual, and the operator-oriented manuals. This is in system development. So, a manual is just a small book or a guide. And for such case, if you know what is a manual, definitely you would have gotten correct this question. So it guides new users, helps users learn how to use the system, solves problems, provides troubleshooting steps for common issues. GUI, graphical user interface. Why do you think guys are going for GUIs and RIF command line? GUI, graphical user interface. This is Form 1. Third topic, last topic, operating systems. So here, we want to check what is the difference between GUI and command line. For such case, GUIs will give you ability to click and drag and drop. That is to move items. It has icons. Remember, icons are small pictures that represent a command. And for that case, if you look at your mobile phone, your smartphone, it has small pictures. And when you tap the picture, it does something. So that is an icon. Then, if you open your laptop, your system, your computer, it is rectangular in shape. That means it is a window. And the guy who brought the term Windows looked at the window. It is rectangular in shape. And also when you open your tasks in the computer, you have windows. So windows help you to multitask. To multitask is to do more than one task. Then we have menus. You have visited a hotel and you have gotten a menu. A menu is just a list of items. When we come to computer, a menu is a list of commands. So guys, we move to question number 18. Name 4 advantages a school would gain from installing an email software. Here, the examiner is asking you advantages of an email. For such case, a school would improve communication, enables instant communication between teachers, students, parents, and administrators. On the other hand, facilitates timely updates on school events, announcements, and emergencies. That is, the term here is improved communication. Number 2, we have cost saving and co-friendliness. This means it reduces costs associated with printing, paper, and postal services. So when you're using an email, you save a lot of money. Promotes environmentally friendly approach of minimizing paper use. Efficient record keeping. When you send an email, it permanently remains there unless you delete. That means efficient record keeping. Offers centralized system for storing and retrieving past communications. Ensures important records such as meeting minutes and students' progress reports are easily accessible. Also, it is a collaboration tool. Encourages teamwork through shared email threads, attachments, and collaborative features. Helps teachers and staff organize meetings, share documents, and plan activities effectively. Then we have also parental engagement. Keeps parents informed about their child's progress, attendance, and school updates. On the other hand, builds stronger relationship between the school and the parent through regular communication. The last answer here is enhance security and privacy. Assume a situation whereby you are sending an email and a situation whereby you are printing. When you are printing, there is a likelihood of leakage. But when you are sending an email, there is no likelihood of leakage. So, ensure security and privacy. B, a database table has fields employee ID, employee name, hours worked, and rate per hour. Write an expression that would return a field name, wages, which is a product of hour worked and rate per hour. 3 marks. These are 3 marks. This is, in a query, you just write wages, full colon, square bracket, hours worked, close the square bracket, asterisk. Remember, in multiplication, we use asterisk. In computer, rate per hour. You get your 3 marks. Details of employees whose employee ID is between. Exactly, just take the answer from between 100 and 200. You just drop it there. Between 100 and 200. Very simple. Explain the term data encryption as used in data security. This is Form 2. The topic is data control and measures. So when you talk about data encryption, encryption here means you are hiding. So it means changing information into a secret code so that only people with the correct password or key can read it. It protects data from being seen or stolen by unauthorized people. For example, when you send a message online, encryption scrambles it so only that the receiver can understand it. Or some books will say data encryption is the process of converting readable data, plain text, into a scrambled format called ciphertext before sending it over the network. This ensures that if someone intercepts the data, they cannot understand it without the decryption key. So this is the point here now. With the aid of an illustration, explain the process of data encryption during data transmission. So the sender uses an encryption algorithm and a key to convert plain text original data into ciphertext, that is scrambled data. Example, a message hello becomes something like this. The receiver uses decryption key to convert the ciphertext back into plain text. So this one is decoded back to hello. Illustration, you can pause the video and look at that illustration. Our second last question, web development skill. Okay, when somebody want to develop a website or become a webmaster or a web developer, which skills are required? So the skills required is HTML, hypertext markup language, and CSS for creating websites. CSS is just a cascaded sheet. It is for beautifying. Then we have JavaScript, that is for interactivity. Then we have the backend development. This is where you need Python, you need something like Ruby on Rails, you need something like PHP. So backend means whatever the user will not be seeing, that is the engine of the website. Then what is data encryption? We have looked at it up there. Using one's complement. This is where I know you fear a lot. Using one's complement, convert the decimal number 19.625 to binary number equivalent. So guys, here step number 1, convert the integer part 19 to binary. So you continuously divide by 2. If the number is divisible by 2, you write 0. If number is not divisible by 2, you write 1. So remainder 1. That's what we go about. So you can see here I have written, then you read it from bottom up. We call it the most significant bit to the least significant bit. So unasoma kutoka chini kwenda juu. You read it from bottom up. So 19 converted to binary is this value here. Part number 2, convert the fractional part 0.625 to binary. Here you continuously multiply by 2. And then you write the value, the first value. Like here you write 1, you write this one, you write this one, here. But then here you write this 0, you write this 0, here. Here you write this one. But here, remember, this one are read from top to bottom, opposite of the other one there. So the answer here is this one here. This is our answer. Then combine the integer and the fractional part. You bring them together. And for that case, you get the answer as given here. You score your how many marks? You score your around 6 marks or 5. Then here, the last step, find the ones complement. Remember, the ones complement of a number is that number you convert, you invert, you negate. What is 0 becomes 1. What is 1 becomes 0. And then 2's complement of a number is 1's complement of a number plus 1. That is also the something to note. So our answer is that one. You can pause the video or you can just rewind the video to see the steps. Then what are the control measures? What are the control measures? What are the control measures the company should have put in place to prevent the system from jamming and online services being accessible? Now remember, some guys or hackers may make your website inaccessible or make it to jam. So what are the measures that the system administrator or the company should take to ensure that the services are not inaccessible? Number 1 is regular backups and data recovery plans. Make sure you take backups. Number two, you can install firewall and intrusion detection systems. Intrusion is whereby somebody injects or can monitor your traffic and make sure something goes wrong. Redundancy and load balancing to avoid downtime during high traffic or system failures. The company should use load balancing techniques across multiple servers. This ensures that if one server goes down, other can handle the traffic, making services more reliable. So here means you should have more than one server. Regular security audits and penetration testing. You should conduct frequent security audits and penetration testing. This helps to identify vulnerabilities in the system. Then you can use two-factor authentication, 2FA, for users. For added security, the company should implement two-factor authentication for both internal users and customer accessing services. This reduces the chances of unauthorized access even if the credentials are compromised, thereby ensuring the system's overall security. Then our last question, guys, what are the effects of e-waste materials on home environment? Remember this keyword examiner used here, on home environment. So number one, it is toxic chemical risks. E-waste components such as batteries, circuit boards, and screens contain hazardous chemicals like lead, mercury, and cadmium. If not disposed properly, this can leak into the environment containing the soil, water, and air in around the home. Number two, health risks. Exposure to toxic substances from e-waste can pose serious health risks. For example, lead, this is a chemical called lead, can cause neurological damage, while mercury exposure can harm the kidneys and nervous system. Children and pregnant women are particularly vulnerable to these effects. So we are talking about health risks. Number two, air quality. When e-waste is burned improperly, such as informal recycling practices, it releases harmful fumes and particles into the air. This can degrade indoor air quality and lead to respiratory problems. Fire hazard. E-waste, especially items containing lithium batteries, can catch fire if damaged or improperly disposed of. This can increase the risk of home fires. Space and clutter. Accumulation of e-waste in homes can lead a clutter and make living spaces less organized. Old electronics can take up vulnerable storage space, making it harder to keep the home neat and functional. Electronic waste pollution. When e-waste is improperly discarded, it can end up in landfills, contributing to pollution. Some e-waste is also exported to developing countries where it is often processed in unsafe conditions, leading to environmental damage. Impact on wildlife. Toxic chemicals from e-waste can contaminate local ecosystems if they are improperly disposed. So you should also check on managing e-waste. For example, the examiner this year, Kcse may ask how to manage the e-waste. Then reasons for backing up files. Why should you back up files of your projects? Number one is to prevent data loss. Number two is to protect it from accidental deletion. Number three is to protect it from viruses or malware. Number four is for easy recovery after system failure. In case the system fails, you can easily recover access to files or multiple devices. You know, when you have backup, you can use a certain file in another computer using a flash disk or a CD. Functions of the following: gateway and bridge. This is form 4, first topic, that is the introduction to networking. When you talk about a gateway is a device that connects two different networks, often with different protocols, and allows data to flow between them. On the other hand, we have a bridge. A bridge connects two or more segments of the same network, to form a single layer network, often used in local area networks. The rest of the stuff you can read for yourself. Then you are supposed to identify this cable. The answer is coaxial cable, and I have gone ahead to name for you. So the coaxial cable usually have the copper wire. It usually have an insulation, copper mesh, and then it usually have the outside insulator. For example, I don't know whether you have ever teared the aerial, the TV aerial cable. Then you would have seen that one. Advantages of this cable: it has high bandwidth. Bandwidth is the amount of data that can pass through a cable. Durability: these cables are so durable. Also, they are resistant from noise. This noise is called electromagnetic interference, or EMI. On the other hand, it has long transmission distances. You can transmit data kilometers away. It is also very cheap, relatively cheap compared to fiber optic and the rest. It is easy to install. You doesn't need to go to class to know how to install. Broad compatibility. It is compatible with many devices, a range of devices. Also, it gives a better signal. That is a better signal quality. Guys, that is the end of Kcsc 2024 paper 1. That is the marking scheme. In case you need to have this document shared with you, you can WhatsApp me. The number is on the screen. Remember to subscribe, guys. Also remember to share and like my videos. Thank you very much.